I promise you guys, I am not trying to be like #sports shooting videos in my car. I'm just trying to bring you the best coverage I can when I can, guys. Welcome to Billievers Talk. My name is Joe, and welcome to another Pick'em edition of Billievers Talk, where we look at every single matchup coming up this weekend, and we give you who we think is going to be the winner straight up and the winner against the spread. So again, thank you guys for joining me. If you're new to the channel, you want to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and go ahead and leave a comment, guys. We've been doing these pick'em videos all year long, and we ran into a problem last week. First time it's happened this season, hopefully the last time it ever happens. We had no wins. I went 0-4 last week straight up. I went 1-3. I almost had 2 offers, but I went 1-3 against the spread. Luckily, the Vikings won the game, which meant I was correct on saying that they would cover. So again, I went 0-4 straight up. Probably the worst week I've ever had. And hopefully it starts to get better this week. Divisional round of the playoffs. We got 4 more matchups for you. 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. So it's going to be a full weekend of AFC playoffs, bad news, or NFL playoffs. Bad news, Bills are out. Good news, Patriots are out as well. So there's a little bit of sad news, and guys, that has kind of hampered my releasing of videos. I do have a video that I shot yesterday that will be coming up, that I'll be posting later tonight about the future contract signings by the Buffalo Bills. But man, ever since the Bills lost, I'm sure you feel this way too. I've just been a little off kilter, just a little bit not myself. And so I do apologize for that. But that video will be coming out later on today. So make sure you check it out for that. But guys, this is a pick'em video, so that is what we are going to do. We are going to pick the 4 divisional round games of the playoffs. Starting with Saturday's game, the San Francisco 49ers are home as they play against the Minnesota Vikings. The San Francisco 49ers, the 1 seed in the NFC, so of course they had the bye week last week. The Minnesota Vikings coming off an impressive win in New Orleans, winning that game, beating the Saints for the second time in 3 years in the playoffs, knocking them out. So the Vikings come into this divisional round, as all the wild card winners do, a little bit hot. They got that win last week when no one was predicting them to win. And the same thing is happening this week when they go to Santa Clara, California. No one is predicting that they are going to beat the San Francisco 49ers. In fact, the 49ers are 7-point favorites, which in NFL playoff football, that's a pretty big spread, 7 points. But it's not even the biggest spread of the weekend, so keep that in mind. So you got the San Francisco 49ers, who had a really good season this year, beat Seattle week 17 to clinch that NFC West title and also clinch that #1 overall seed, getting that first round bye. And guys, I like San Fran in this matchup. I don't know why people are not giving San Fran more credit for what they did this season. They beat Seattle twice. They beat New Orleans in a shootout. They beat Green Bay. They've beaten some really good teams. Remember when we talked about that gauntlet that they had where they played New Orleans, Baltimore, and then New Orleans, Baltimore, Seattle, or something like that, where they just played 3 or 4 really good teams in a row. And they came away from that pretty good, only losing to the Baltimore Ravens, which, to be honest, if you're going to lose a game, you want it to be against the other conference. So it worked out pretty well for the 49ers. They earned that #1 seed, and here they are, 7-point favorites against the Minnesota Vikings. Guys, I expect the San Francisco 49ers to win this game, and I expect the San Francisco 49ers to cover this spread. I think a 7-point spread is a big spread for the playoffs, but Minnesota's coming in. We have Diggs missing practice the past 2 days due to illness. I know he doesn't need much practice to get ready. I'm sure he'll be good to go come game time. Should be a decent game, but I expect the 49ers to come out on top here, and I expect the 49ers to cover a 7-point spread. Then you go over to the AFC side, that Saturday night game, and you have the Baltimore Ravens, the 1 seed in the AFC, again getting a bye last week, going up against the Tennessee Titans. The Titans doing the whole world a favor and upsetting the New England Patriots in New England last week. So again, they're feeling pretty good about themselves, feeling that if they can beat the New England Patriots, they can beat just about anybody. That's what it's going to take in order to beat this Baltimore Ravens team. Again, Baltimore 9.5-point favorites after they put up a ridiculous season where they have probably the best player in the league in Lamar Jackson on their team. But guys, 9.5 points is an awful lot. So I'm not sure if they're going to cover the 9.5 points. I think Vrabel will have Tennessee ready to go. Might run Derrick Henry a lot. might control some pace, might control the clock. That might be the best way to win this game, if they have a chance to win this game, is to keep Lamar Jackson and that high-powered offense on the field. But you can't look past this Baltimore Ravens defense. This defense is no slouch either. This defense can beat you as well. So even though I think the the Tennessee Titans are going to try a little ground and pound here and try to win the game that way, I still feel like this Baltimore Ravens defense is going to keep it a low-scoring game. And all the Ravens offense needs is just that little spark, right, to really get going. Now, I know that the Ravens pass offense isn't that great, right, as far as in the standings, but Lamar Jackson can still get the job done any way he wants to, passing for over 200 yards a game and then rushing for close to 100 yards a game. Again, passing Michael Vick for the all-time leader in rushing yards in a season by a quarterback. So again, I think Lamar Jackson's the NFL MVP hands down. I think the Tennessee Titans go into Baltimore with all of the intentions of upsetting them, and I think they cover a 9.5-point spread, but give me the Baltimore Ravens to win this game and move on to the AFC Championship game. Then you move on to Sunday slate of games. I have the San Francisco 49ers and Baltimore Ravens, both 1 seeds, winning their game. I have San Fran covering a 7-point spread. I have Baltimore winning but not covering a 9.5-point spread. You move on to those Sunday games, the 2 seeds for both conferences, and it starts off with the AFC side at about 3 o'clock. You have the Kansas City Chiefs at home against the Houston Texans. Houston Texans coming off an emotional victory last week, against a tough victory against the Buffalo Bills, going into overtime after being down 16-0 and able to get that overtime victory 22-19. I expect that the Houston Texans come in this game hot, right? They come in this game ready to go. But what do we know about the Houston Texans? They've never made it out of divisional rounds, right? They've never, in their 3 now wild card wins in their franchise history, they've never won in the divisional round to move on to the AFC Championship game. Does that change this week? What do we know about Andy Reid and this Kansas City Chiefs team? We know that they have a high-powered offense. We know that they have had a better defense as of late, but if you look at their schedule, it was pretty weak going down the stretch as far as offensives played. I know that they allowed about 17 points a game over the past 4 or 5 weeks. Again, pretty good, right? But again, if you look at the level of competition, they're not as good as some of the other defenses around the league. So you look at this Houston Texans team, I feel like they found something last week in the second half of that game. Cannot get off to a slow start, though. If they get off to a slow start, this Kansas City Chiefs offense a little bit more high-powered than our Bills offense, and so they'll be able to put points on the board. They won't settle for field goals when they should have touchdowns. So I think a lot of this depends on Will Fuller again. How much of a game does he play? Does he play in the game at all? I think that changes this game. I think that changes the aspect. J.J. Watt, another question mark, right? We know he played outstanding in the second half of the Buffalo Bills game, but in that first half, he was not a factor at all. So how do the Houston Texans play him, and how does the Kansas City Chiefs defense, or offensive line, I should say, prepare for that, right? Because again, J.J. Watt can change a game. He's a game changer, and we saw that last week. In this game, the Kansas City Chiefs are favored, just like Baltimore was, by 9.5 points. So when you look at the AFC side of things for this weekend, both teams favored by 9.5 points, 2-score games. Would not be a fun AFC wildcard or AFC divisional round weekend if they both win by 2 scores. I like the Chiefs in this matchup. I expect the Texans to keep this one close. Again, really depends on Will Fuller. I will say that if Will Fuller does not play, I don't expect this game to be close at all. I expect Kansas City to run away with it. But I think Will Fuller plays at least a little bit in this game, and I think the Houston Texans keep this close. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs to win this game. Give me the Houston Texans to cover another 9.5-point spread. Then moving on to the last game of the weekend, you got the 2-seeded Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field to play up against the Seattle Seahawks. I couldn't remember the name real quick, but the Seattle Seahawks. The Green Bay Packers are 4-point favorites in this game. I really like the Packers in this one, guys. I think Seattle had a rough time against pretty much a second-string Eagles team last week after taking out Carson Wentz. You know the officials are going to be looking more for those penalties that they didn't call wild card weekend, including the roughing the passer penalties, including maybe some of those pass interference calls that they missed, including those delay of game calls that happened in the Bills game as well that were were missed, they're going to be looking at those a little closer. So don't expect them to get away with much in this game. Expect Aaron Rodgers to play a full game. And if Aaron Rodgers plays the whole game, that's trouble for the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know if Seattle makes out of Philadelphia if Carson Wentz is playing the whole game. That I think if Aaron Rodgers plays this whole game, which he should, I think the Green Bay Packers do not have an issue taking care of Seattle. We know about their playoff history, goes back a little bit. So I think this will be a fun game. 4 points sounds just about right to me. I'd probably stay away from this game if I was doing if I was betting. But I think Green Bay is going to cover a 4-point spread. So give me all the 1s and 2 seeds. Give me going back to Saturday. Give me Baltimore to win. Give me Baltimore not to cover the spread against Houston. Give me why can't I think of the 1 seed? San Fran to win. Give me San Fran to cover the seed against Minnesota. And Sunday, give me Kansas City to win, but give me Houston to cover the spread. And then Sunday night, the last game of the night, give me Green Bay to win and give me Green Bay to cover a 4-point spread against Seattle. So those are my picks. Hopefully we do better than 0 for 4 like we did last week. But again, guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. I know it's the Buffalo Bills offseason, but I have plenty of things coming down the pike for you guys. Again, watch tonight as I post the video that I did yesterday. Unfortunately, I didn't get posted in time, guys, so I do apologize about the future contracts that the Buffalo Bills signed. I look forward to talking to you all soon. Until I do, go Bills.